Hey, welcome back. It's David. Monday again. Time for another question we've gotten here. We always get this question about what pricing right, but have you ever heard of CONPR? I know it's something I made up. Cost of not pricing it right. And I mean, let's look at what's going on in the background. That's what we're going to check on today. So let's break it down. What's the cost of not pricing it right? What's going on while the house is trying to sell? Let's just take an example. We're going to take one here today for, say, a $300,000 home. Maybe you had a 20% down on it, so you've basically got a mortgage of about $240,000. But what do you need to think about? What are these costs that are going on while you're not selling? So what is it costing you? Well, you got mortgage payment. 240 is $1,176.50. For property taxes, say you've got a $3,500 a year property tax, looking at $291.70 each month. Then don't forget homeowners insurance. We need that. So homeowners insurance going to run you $70. And then you've got all your utilities. Let's look at them here: electric, gas, water, yard maintenance. So each one of those adds up another total. And at the end of the month, what have you got? $1,948.20. So almost $2,000 a month that you're spending while this place is not selling. Now, of course, other people will say, well, it's the realtor's fault. You're going to notice sometimes something doesn't sell after a few months. They turn it over, give it to another realtor, to another. Now we've gone 6 months. Now we've gone 9 months. Now we've gone 12 months. What happens? Let's take a look at those numbers. I got them written down here, tried to get ahead of the thing. So let's say that this house, if you're doing that almost $2,000 a month in 6 months, you're going to basically have $11,689. Or look at that, 9 months, $17,500. In a year, $23,378 you could have spent, or you have spent, just because you said, oh, I'm going to get this extra price, I'm going to hold on to it. So now what happens in reality is, normally if it should have been sold for $330 or $300 and you pushed it at $330, now you start bringing it down. People are wondering what's going on because you're chasing the market down. And then you're going to end up finding you've got some real numbers to look at. So let's take a look at those now, all right? If you had it at, should have been 300 and you had it at 330, you know it's going to take time to sell because you're going to end up chasing the market down. You've probably gone to another agent, asked for another one. So let's say that this thing finally now gets down there. You've had to keep dropping the price, and then others have sold, of course, because you were wrong there. But you're going to take that, and you're probably going to end up only getting, let's say, $290,000. So at $290,000, let's say now, because you waited so long from our numbers we looked at before, let's say it takes you 9 months because you've gone through 2 or 3 different realtors at, say, 3 months each. So in 9 months, you'll have spent $17,533.80 to keep that home running while you own it. So now what you took home after all this is done, $272,466. That's how much you get to take in your pocket because you waited. That was waiting 6 or 9 months because you priced it wrong and kept going. Now, if you had taken that same house and you had priced it at $300,000 like you should have, and the market says that's what it'll go, and now you find out that someone's going to buy it, there's a good chance that you're going to get your price of $300,000 or very close to it. And so let's say that they give you a normal offer. It might take a month and then to get the thing sold, and then it's going to take maybe another month and a half to close. Let's just look at that. So let's say 2.5 months at our $1,948. That gives us $4,870.50 that it costs us while we're waiting for this thing to get closed. So now you got a total of $295,129.50 in your pocket. So there's what you're going to get, $295,129.50. That's your money back to you. Whereas the other one, if you had waited 6 months because you priced wrong, you only end up with $272,466.20. Which would you rather have? I think I'd rather have that one, wouldn't you? That way, if you price it right, you have a better chance of getting it sold in a shorter time, less expenses that you're covering while this thing's on the market. Now that seems like, maybe that's not too much for you, but think about it. When you go to price it right, cost of pricing it at the right price, what do we call it again? Cost of not pricing it right the first time there. Conper. So remember Conper, put it in the right, listen, get the numbers as close as you can so you're not chasing the market down. We'll see you on the next time.